Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's so nice to see a lot of familiar faces and names. This is one of my favorite events that we do. While I love always meeting everyone in person, I think our virtual fam trip allows us to talk with more of our partners, more of our schools, and really just connect in a greater way. So I'm going to be talking about, as Sasha said, our F1 basic program, our F1 basic plus program, and our F1 private choice program. Sometimes I wonder why I got the most confusing programs in the bundle that we offer. But I like to have fun with the programs. Later on, you're going to be hearing from three of our private choice partner schools that we have amazing relationships. Marquette Catholic Boarding School, Faith Christian Academy, and a new school that we partnered with, Covenant Christian High School. So these are three amazing schools that you'll hear from, and you'll learn about why we partner with them and why we continue to partner with them. I don't even know the amount of years we've been working with Marquette, but it's definitely more than a decade. The same with Faith Christian Academy. So, as Craig said, we really like to establish partnerships for a long term, both with our schools and our agents. So let me share my screen and we will get started. Okay. All right, let's see. Can everyone see my presentation? I just want to make sure.
Not yet. No, we see your desktop.
Mm.
Here we go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Sasha. All right, so we have been creating global connections through education since 1997. So I think it's really key to know, as Craig mentioned, when him and his father Wayne started the program, our F1 programs were started at a similar time as when we started working on a J1. So our programs have gone through a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations, and a lot of growth. We've always worked with our ISE colleagues. So a lot of the application process, a lot of the host family application process is similar. So our F1 program goes through the same stringent rules. We just don't have to report to the Department of State, which makes it a little bit easier. So, as everyone mentioned, as you know, I'm the program director, and our program coordinator is Austin, who many of you have spoken with and emailed with as well. He manages our applications as well as the student issues when they come up. So we really strive to provide a quality academic experience. We really look and work together with our schools to find safe and caring host family placements. And we really try to make sure that we are helping the students every step of the way. Working on F1 programs, we know that the parents are paying a bit more money than if they were doing a J1 or another program. So we really try to strive for a little bit of personalization in each program. And how that starts is when you get an inquiry for a student who wants to come on an F1 program, or when a student might be looking at, let's say, a J1 program, and you might think they're better for an F1. That email where you say, "Hey, Diana, I have a student that," and then the summary of the student, that starts that personalization. Me making sure I have a school for them, me making sure that I can place them in whatever capacity the student is coming in. We really strive to find safe and caring host families. Our goal is to ensure that our host families repeat year after year. Of course, new host families are great because it just expands our network of student exchange. But we really like to find host families that can commit to us, even when there is a student issue or something that we need to handle. Our goal is to really make sure that the student's journey is unforgettable, and that you as an agent also feel like the process was effortless. Oops. Okay. So, as I mentioned, we have 25 years of experience in international education. We have a really good global reach with strong relationships. Our schools, we've been working with them for a really long time. I can email a school or text one of our contacts at a school and say, hey, can you take the student that failed a grade? Can you take a student who is allergic to, and then you take out the scroll of allergies? So our school partnerships are really strong. And then also with our agents, when we're working together, we want to make sure that we have transparency, honesty, and truth so that we can place the students. I think sometimes my team cringes their teeth at me because I want a place for every student. So many of you who've been working with me for a while know you'll email me about a student, and 9 times out of 10, I'll say, yes, we can take this student. And then having 3 programs that we operate, we can always find a place for them. We really like that collaborative approach where we can see our schools and our partners as true partners. Okay, so let's get on to the programs. Enough about all the intro stuff, right? You all know that. So our program overview, we really tried to design programs that are tailored for every student. Now, of course, budget is usually the prime reason why a parent and a student will pick a program. But it is good to understand what each of our F-1 private programs offer, because for some students, they really only fit into one of the categories. So we have our F-1 basic program, which is ideal for students seeking flexibility. These students get placed in public or private schools, 1 year of study in a public school, multiple years of study in a private school. And, the placements can be adaptable to what the student's needs are, whether that is allergies, whether a student wants to be in a home with young children, no children, elements like that of the program. The F-1 Basic Plus program is for students who want input. So students and parents and you as agents can review and choose 2 schools from a list of 7. So this is a little different than the basic program, where the basic program, there is no choice. I'm the one making the decision, and my team is the one making the decision, which is why the application on the F-1 programs is so, so key. Making sure that what the student wants to pursue, what the student is interested in, that video option in the application is really great for us because it allows us to see and learn about the student. So in the F-1 Basic Plus program, they're looking and they're choosing 2 options, option 1 or option 2. And then we place them in one of those 2 options. So on the Basic Plus program, students need to be okay with being placed in their first or second option. This program, I know many of you have asked why we don't have more schools listed. Part of it is based on need. It's not a wildly popular program yet. And also, on our basic and our basic plus program, our schools have to give us major tuition discounts. And so, some years schools can do that, some years they can't. And so it just depends on the availability of those schools that we can work with. And then we have our F-1 Private Choice program, which I know many of you don't want to work on because it's more expensive and it's a bit harder to get a parent and a student to buy into. But these are for families and students who really want a premium experience. And you're going to hear from 3 of our partner schools on this program later, and you'll understand why the cost and also the dedication to picking a school is worth it. We have over 70 high schools. They're all private, and you get to learn all about the school beforehand. Last year, Jennifer Quinlan and I, she's from Marquette. You'll hear from her in a little bit. We did, info sessions with a few students. So even before they decided if they wanted to attend Marquette, we would get on a Zoom with the parents and the student and the school and discuss what the school was about. So that F-1 Private Choice program allows for a lot of personalization, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of info. So it is worth the cost. So don't shy away from it. I would, learn about the schools that we offer and what they can do for the students. So we have the F-1 basic program, which is kind of right above like your J1. It's a no choice option where we choose whether the student is going into which school. In the application, students can write if they prefer a private school or a public school. However, there are certain elements that dictate which school a student is going into. If a student is a senior, if they have already graduated in their home country, or if they want to graduate, we do need more flexibility, and many times those students have to be okay with a public or a private school. Our Basic Plus program, the students get a bit more input. They can review a list of 7 schools and they get to choose their first or their second choice. On the F-1 Basic Plus program, we do have one public option and the rest are private schools. And the F-1 Private Choice program, you have a list of over 70 private schools across the country, which include boarding and day schools that students and families can choose from. All of the program pricing that you will see includes the placement, support, the I-20 processing, and then on the bottom of a lot of the price sheets, you will see the additional costs like insurance and school supplies. Okay. So we're really looking at the program as more than just an academic experience. So the F-1 visa is a academic visa. So that's important to know because while many students are utilizing our F-1 programs for their gap year or just kind of as a cultural experience similar to a J1, they still need to go to school, they still need to pass their classes, and they do need to take the academics seriously. There's a lot of community activities, there's a lot of school activities, sports, clubs that they can get involved in, but they do need to make sure that they are aware that this is an academic experience and a journey that we can help them on. We really want to make sure that students get involved. So focusing on personal growth and leadership and what opportunities they can get involved in. I do want to take a small pause here to talk about sports. Sports in the United States are different than in other countries. So we don't practice sports year round. If we do, those are called club teams. And our club teams are formed generally 6 months to a year before an exchange student gets here. And they're highly competitive teams. So we say that we can only place students in schools that have the sports they want. Additionally, our sports are broken up into seasons. So fall, August to about November, winter, November to March, and then spring, March to May, June-ish, depending on where they are. Outside of that, we really can't guarantee sports participation in outside of school teams. There are some areas, some schools that have club teams that students can participate in, but that's a really hard aspect to guarantee because a lot of times host families would need to commit to driving a student to an additional activity. So when you hear a student that wants to play, soccer year round or basketball year round, that's not really possible on our programs. So it's key to know how the U.S. sports schedule works in high schools because we want to make sure that students' expectations from the beginning are met and that they're not disappointed when they get here. Sports are designed that way so students can participate, grow in multiple, lanes and also just experience new things. So, in addition to making sure that students understand this is an academic program, it's also a journey that we're trying to have them go on, and that might mean trying a new sport. So the sports comes up a lot in a lot of our communications, a lot of our emails, and it's just not something that we can say, yes, they can do soccer year round. Also, depending on the school and the region they're in and the state they're in, it does dictate the level of sports they're on. So we have JV and varsity. Some schools just have one team. So sports participation is different than in other countries, and it's just important for us to connect beforehand if you do have a really sporty student and they want a certain level of sports here. Okay. So, what is a benefit for you guys working with us? What do we try to do year after year to make sure that we can have a seamless program? So, fast communication and decision making. As Craig said, we're pretty available all the time. So, I know many of you, do experience a quick response from me when we're talking about students. We're talking about what school they should go to, a program question and decision making. When we have student issues, we try to give you a summary as quickly as possible. Student issues are hard because there's so many different perspectives on one issue, and you and I have to work together to try to find a solution. We do try to keep an open line of communication about the placement process, and that also goes back to the application. The application is really key, especially on the F-1 program. So one element of the application that I think is something I do every year. So if this is your second or third time on this training, I apologize for this example again. But when we get an application where the student's profile picture looks like this, it's really boring. When we get an application where a student is smiling and really happy looking, it helps. So when you're having the students fill out the applications, we want really fun, joyful pictures, especially that profile photo. When we get down to the application, we want to make sure that everything is filled out correctly. I would rather someone take an extra week to go over the application instead of having to receive the application and a month later find out there are differences. Trust me, it's really hard once we have the student being worked on in our field to change things up than if we waited an extra week to get the application. We also try to make sure that, in the application, you can fill out parts of the student's preferences. Like, do they want a private school? Do they want a public school? What is their intention on graduation? So I think when you think about working with SMG and your continued partnership, we really try to make it easy for you to focus on recruiting while we handle the rest. We have a lot of marketing material within our Xlink platform so that you can work through and with the parents and the students and learn about the schools and all that we offer. So why a private school? So I know everyone wants public. They see the movies, they see the TV, they think that the public schools are the best. And public schools are great, and private schools are great. I think a lot of times private schools get a bad rap because of the religious aspect, and a little bit you will hear from our private schools and their perspective on how exchange students do in the religious schools. But private schools, they're smaller in class size, so they have more attention to the students. They have a really strong academic support system. The teachers are a bit more engaged with a caring environment because it's smaller. And so a lot of times students who might have learning challenges or just need that one-on-one attention thrive in a private school, whereas in a public school, they get lost. Private schools do have excellent extracurricular and sports programs. So even though they're smaller, that doesn't mean they don't have the opportunities. And they really have a great pathway to top universities. So I just want to make sure that when you're thinking about private schools, or if a parent or a student is like, I don't want a private school, they're too small or they're too religious, don't get nervous. Don't shy away. Religion is a community activity in the United States. It's a social hub. It produces a lot of diverse activities. There's a big support system. There's a lot of youth programs involved in religion, and also cultural integration. So, a student from Spain who's Catholic could be placed in a Catholic school and learn about how they celebrate religious holidays differently or how celebrations are different. So again, it's not a time to shy away from private schools. It's just a time to kind of learn more. Religion in the United States can be much more than a private belief. It's a community-centric part of life that brings people together through shared activities, support, and even celebrations. So I think whenever you have a family or a student that is nervous about religion, please talk to me about that. Please ask, I can send you the slide that I have on the screen, or I can just share with you anecdotal information about other students who have come and haven't had an issue with the religious aspect in some of our private schools. Graduation, when is it possible? So students entering 12th grade will need to decide what type of graduation experience they like. I'm not going to go into detail too much because I'm already over my time as usual, and I got 5 more minutes to present, and I'm already going over. But we do have in our application, some of you have noticed, a different type of graduation choice. So we've got our high school diploma. Then you can choose a certificate of completion and then a senior experience only. So graduation is the celebration of finishing high school. Diploma is the official paper that proves that the student meets all those requirements. And the certificate of completion is a recognition for completing the year, even if they don't meet every requirement of a diploma. So this is important for especially the students entering 12th grade. We have found that a lot of our students don't need a diploma. They just want to experience the graduation ceremony at the end of the year. And certain schools do not allow students to graduate, but they do allow them to receive a certificate of completion. So this is an important piece that when you have a student going into 12th grade or a student who has already graduated in their home country, when you get to this part of the application, just try to ensure that you're filling it out correctly. And we can talk about this too, one-on-one if you do have a lot of students that you're sending who are going to be in 12th grade or who have already graduated. Cultural differences. We want to make sure that we are starting from the beginning when we are talking about cultural differences. Encourage students to embrace each new experience with curiosity and remember that each aspect will shape their journey. I think sometimes when parents pay more money for the program, they expect more, but sometimes that's not always the reality, or it's not always the American culture. So we want, food, making friends, going through classes. We want to make sure we're managing the expectation of all the students as they start filling out their application. So just some important program elements, and then I'm going to pass on the time to Jennifer Quinlan at Marquette. Remember that the application on the F-1 programs is really, really key. That student profile picture, the letter, the video, the transcripts. Our schools really look at the transcripts. They really do, to try to make sure that the students are placed in the right grade and the right classes. The program options section of the F-1 application is really key. It allows us to know what the student is looking for, what they need, and what their expectations are. And we do need a bank statement. A bank statement is a government rule, not an SMG or a school rule. I-20s, they vary differently per school, but they are all electronically sent. Some are sent directly to the student, some are sent through SMG and through us. Once your student is placed and we get their flight details, that is when you get the insurance, just like with your ISC students. So the F-1 programs are something to consider. Your basic plus, and your private choice programs. Don't forget about that last one. And if you ever have any questions or you want just more time on a Zoom, I can definitely arrange time for us to talk one-on-one so that you can learn more about the programs.
Diana, speaking about the questions, we have a few actually in our chat.
Okay.
So the first one is Marcella is asking, can't we guarantee sports in private schools?
Can we guarantee sports?
Yeah, practice,
It
participate.
depends.
Yeah.
It depends on the sport. We can't guarantee participation. It depends if it's like on the choice program, because from the beginning we can then say, oh, the student is going to this school because they want this program. The issue is that students have to try out. So if they have to try out, we don't know their level. And so we can't guarantee participation. Sorry.
We have a question from Michaela. Hello, Diane. In your opinion, what's the main difference between public schools, F1 public program, and public schools in Canada, if we leave the countries aside, what would be the main selling points? This may be a good question for Mariani, when she speaks about F1 public program. But what do you think, in your opinion, Diana, since you also have two public schools that you're working with on the F1 Basic Plus program?
Um, I mean, I think it's hard to compare two countries. Um, I think there's positives of Canada and there's positives of the United States. I think if you want more of an outdoor culture, you're going to go to Canada. But I think if in the United States, the schools can be fairly similar, the public schools with the size, the activities that are offered. So I think it just comes down to the country preference on what you're looking for.
Okay. We don't have any more questions, so I guess we can move on to our next presenter.
Yes.
Sure.
The wonderful and the amazing Jennifer Quinlan from Marquette. She and I have been working together for a long time, and I love Marquette. Many of you might remember we used to have the school offered as a day school. Now it's just a boarding school, and they have the cutest, most quaint boarding options for students. So I'm going to hand it over to her, and she'll talk all about Marquette.
Thanks, Diana. You're too kind. You're too kind. Before I share my screen, I'll just introduce myself quickly. My name is Jennifer Quinlan. I am the Director of Admission at Marquette for both local and international students. So managing both programs, um, it's a handful, but it's well worth it. We've been working with SMG. Gosh, I've been at Marquette for 22 years, and we were working with SMG prior to that. So, it's been at least 25, I would say. Um, I'm also a graduate of Marquette, so um, my heart is here. So when I am, you know, in the midst of things, I look at enrollment as very personal, and it's a personal investment for me in not only promoting our school but inviting students to enroll with us. So I'm gonna try to share my screen. Just give me one moment. Okay. Now, my share screen button is not here. Oh, here we go. Okay. Doesn't,
There should be like a big green button that says share, then you just choose a
yeah,
file.
it's not there. Yeah. Okay, let's see if this works.
There we go. It started.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, let me just move this. Okay. So Marquette has been around for, gosh, 139 years. So we have quite a strong history in our community. We are a college prep school. We have 300 students in grades 9 through 12. Um, Currently, we have students from 8 different countries. As you'll see here, Brazil, China, Germany, Poland, Spain, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. As I stated previously, we've been working with international families for about 25 years. And as Diana stated, when our programs were initially started, we were a day program only. But about 15 years ago, we decided to establish a boarding program. And we found that our students were having much more success in a boarding program rather than as compared to the day program. So we opted to remove the day program and only offer boarding. We had our open house last week for local students, and I calculated this statistic to present to the families, and we have students from 15 different schools, 15 different zip codes, and 8 different countries. So I thought that was an interesting stat to pose to our families, that the diversity of our school is just as it relates, diversity relates to race and religion as it does to their demographic of where they live. So we are located in Michigan City, Indiana. We're 1 hour east of the city of Chicago. We are right on Lake Michigan, so we're less than 1 mile from one of the most beautiful beaches. When the weather's nice, the kids walk to the beach. This area right here, that's our little downtown. There's restaurants and shops. Right behind the school is a train that is 1 hour. The kids jump on it on Saturdays and they head into Chicago, and they shop, they eat, they see all the sights. And what I like to see, and say with that is, you have the safety and security of a small town, but access to a big city. The population of Michigan City is just about 32,000. So it is truly a small town. You can see this area right here. We are an urban campus, so we are in a neighborhood. And so this area right here, this section, that's our campus. If you walk this way, and unfortunately it's not in the photo, the house where the kids live is right here. And they walk to school, they walk to the train. This area right here is a little shopping center that the kids walk to. Over in this direction is our little downtown. But you can see this right here, that's Lake Michigan, and that is less than 1 mile from where the kids are. And boy, do they take advantage of that. We are a Catholic school, but only about 70% of our students are Catholic. And, when asking our international students, how they feel their background and perspective fits in with our faith formation, they look at it as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to learn about new things. Service is a huge piece of our faith formation. We have a service commitment of a minimum of 15 hours each semester. And I will say our international students really dive into that and they enjoy it. I was talking with one of our students that we have through SMG. He's from Germany, and he came to see me last week. And, he's like, Jennifer, I am way behind on my service. And, what can I do? And so next door to our school, we have a food pantry. And I said, okay, Alan, come on, Wednesday, I'll walk you over there and you can work there for an hour during your study hall. So we went over there, and he was just afterwards, he came into my office and he's like, I could do that every Wednesday. He just absolutely loved seeing, the different kinds of people. He had no idea, the variety, for lack of a better word, of people that would come in there. And he really valued that opportunity. So that is one of our huge focuses is service, which our international students do dive into. We do have, the expectation of them to go to mass with us, um, participate in the sacraments in a way that they can. And if they don't want to, that's okay too. They're just always very respectful of our traditions and our beliefs. And, they just value that experience because some of them don't have that at all. So we, as I stated before, we are a college prep school, and every bit of our curriculum is based on that. However, a piece of it that even takes it a step further is our dual credit offerings. And a lot of our international students and our international partners don't necessarily understand the difference between an AP course and a dual credit course. Our focus, we do offer AP courses, but our focus is dual credit simply because it opens up more opportunities for our students, and our international students can take advantage of dual credit offerings. So an AP course, which, if you know this, I apologize. Um, it has to be, or it can be taught by a teacher of any discipline. They just need to be a certified teacher. A dual credit course, the teacher has to have their master's degree in the content area. They are given adjunct professor status at the university or college that sponsors the course. They're monitored, they're supervised by that university. In an AP course, you don't have to have a concentration in that curriculum. And at the end of that course, that student must take an exam and score a 4 or a 5 to earn that credit. With a dual credit, a student just has to earn a C or better, and they will receive that college course. So our kids graduate with not only a Marquette transcript, but a university transcript from any one of those sponsoring universities. It depends on the course. So right now we offer 81 college credits to our students. We partner with Purdue University, Indiana University, and Ivy Technical Institute. And this list of offerings changes every year. We really take into account the interest survey from the PSAT that our students take, and we look at that and we see compare that to what our students or our higher ed partners can offer us and what our students are looking for. So our international students, especially those that are on a graduation pathway with us, really take advantage of our dual credit classes. I was just doing progress reports the other day, and one of our international students is taking, 4 dual credit classes on top of 3 high school classes. So that's a heavier load than what a college student would be taking. And another nice aspect of that for the students is, when you're in college, as we all know, the supports are not as readily, the academic supports are not as readily available to the students as they are in high school. So the kids are a little more handheld during their time with us. So when they are ready to go to college, they know what they need to do. So one of the requirements for our international students is enrolling in our English as a New Language course, which is, we call it ENL, some people call it ESL, but it is integrated into their school day. Our ENL teacher also acts as a academic advisor along with our traditional academic advisor, but she provides much more academic support to our international students. Every international student enrolls in an ENL or enrolls in ENL. They'll take their English language assessment upon arrival, and depending upon their score, that score determines whether or not they need to be in a supportive English class based on the state of Indiana. Um, if they achieve that score, then second semester, they'll go into a traditional English class, usually English 9 or 10, depending upon their ability level. If it's high, then they can go into a dual credit English class like a composition or a rhetoric class. Um, Mixed in with ENL is TOEFL test prep, SAT prep, ACT prep. That's all part of that course, as well as academic vocabulary support. Our teachers provide our ENL instructor all of their academic vocabulary, and she works with the students, looks at what they're taking, works with the students, and helps build them um, kind of like their own little dictionary as it applies to the courses they're taking. We also provide our students with a pen translator at the very beginning that they are allowed to use in class on homework, but not on tests or exams. And when we gave that to them this year, all of the kids were like, "What?" They were very surprised and grateful to have that as an option. So the programs that we offer, um, most of our students from SMG are here for our long-term program, a two-semester fall and spring. But we do have other options. We have a short-term program where we can do 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. It's more for the experience and language learning and a cultural immersion. With a semester program, they can earn high school credit. They still, we would load them with, college visits and other off-campus activities. It's almost like a mini camp, I would say. And we would be able to provide them with a high school transcript, whereas with the short-term program, we would not be able to do that. Our long-term program and our more popular program with SMG um, is our full academic year. So they live on campus with our students. They do earn a high school credit. Our students just went to the University of Notre Dame last Friday. So, college visits and off-campus activities. They will have a high school transcript, and the language learning and cultural immersion is, definitely a part of that. They'll have much more experiences with local kids, which was interesting. One of our students from Germany last year, when I was sitting with her and getting her opinion about, what can we tell kids when they're looking at, coming to study abroad, not necessarily just coming to Marquette, but what advice can you give someone? And she said, and I loved this, she said, say yes to everything. You want to experience everything and say yes. So I loved that from her. I was sad that she graduated or completed her program. I loved her. Um, so we are, 300 students. Um, we are a very tight-knit community, not just amongst our kids, but I can say, this is a great place to also work. And I think that says a lot about the environment here. We are 11 to 1. That's our, student teacher ratio. Um, I think it says it when I say we show up for each other. This is our dormitory. So it's like I showed you in the photo, it's a half a block from campus. Um, Community dining room. We all have dinner together. Not me, but they all have dinner together every evening at 7 o'clock. Everyone is expected to be in the dining room. That is the one time that, our dean gets FaceTime with everybody at the same time. Um, it's a much more of a family environment than it would be in a traditional dormitory. This is just a little peek into a typical room. There's another one right there. Every room has its own bathroom. Rooms vary on the number of students that are in each room. We have two houses. We have a front house, which is this house right here, and then we have a smaller house in the back. It's a coach house. The girls live in the coach house. The boys live in the front house. And most rooms in the front house are two students. One of them is four because it's very large. And then in the back house, they're two-room suites. So there's typically four students, but there's two in each room and they share a bathroom. But this house used to be a bed and breakfast, and it's well over 100 years old. And we purchased it about 15 years ago and did the necessary renovations to make it fit our program needs. Um, my favorite part of it, I would say, is the community that it builds um, amongst the kids for sure. So, just some benefits of the experience that, students have with us is definitely the language learning, the linguistic and cultural immersion. Our college prep curriculum is, I would say, incomparable. And our small class sizes, provide the individualized attention. We would not have a classroom with more than 20 students ever. 20 for us to have in one classroom is not what we want for our kids. We want that intimate, individualized experience for them. There's academic support before and after school on campus and also at we call it the mansion. At the house for the kids, our dean is a teacher, not here in school, but he is currently getting his master's degree in education, and he is there to tutor the kids every night. We have an academic advisor whose sole focus is academic and college planning. We provide the SAT prep course. And as I said earlier, we're a small town of 32,000, but yet we have access to the city of Chicago just an hour away. So something that our international students really take advantage of, especially our students from Brazil, it seems, that is our business program. So as I stated previously, we really look at the interest survey from the PSAT, and a few years ago, the number one interest was business. So we added a business curriculum to our programming, and part of that, we use the Stock Track platform that is mock commodities training, financial literacy. We have various business classes, accounting. One of our teachers was the CFO at Vienna Beef, so he has real life experience that he brings in to teaching our students. We also, our kids also participate in DECA, which is a business and marketing. It's an international business and marketing competitive club isn't the right word, but club doesn't give it enough emphasis. And last year, our kids went to state, so that was pretty exciting. But our international students really take advantage of this program, and we take advantage of them being involved in it because they certainly bring a different perspective to those classes, coming from a completely different country, a different economy. And we value their participation in that. So as Diana was mentioning earlier, sports in the US are very different. And this has been a challenge for us because our athletics are sanctioned by the Indiana High School Athletic Association. So if a school is not sanctioned by their state athletic association, then playing for a sectional, a regional, a semi-state, a state championship isn't possible because those are sponsored by that association. And they also govern our sports. So they want to make sure that we're not recruiting to build our program to be, you know, the best. They want it to be fair amongst all schools. So in order to do that, we have to complete reports for, they're called a transfer report, because in the eyes of the IHSAA, all of our international students, unless they're a freshman, are considered transfers. So there's a report that we have to fill out, and one of the piece of that is the information from their school. And then their school automatically gets sent this form that they have to fill out. Well, there's a disconnect there because, our international students aren't coming to us from a school, they're coming to us from an agent. So it's really hard for the kids to understand that a lot of times there is this waiting period of, waiting for their eligibility. And it kills them. And it kills us too, because, we know they want to play. So it's really important that, the students coming this way, just in general, as Diana said, really understand the athletics. We want them to participate. Involved kids are happy kids. And we want them to participate in our athletic programs. So understanding the dynamics of it all is very important. But as you see here in the fall, we offer boys tennis, soccer, cross country, girls volleyball, girls golf, and boys lacrosse. In the winter, it's basketball and co-ed swimming. Spring, tennis, track and field, golf for boys, softball, baseball, and girls lacrosse. It was interesting too because, this is a horrible story to share, but one of our students last year wanted to play baseball so bad, and he had never played baseball before. Well, within 1 week, he broke his nose and he knocked out his two front teeth because he was trying to catch fly balls. Um, so it's important that, you know, they I don't even know. It was wild. Um, but yes, sports are very different here, but we want them to participate. And we have had success too in finding club teams for our kids. So that's the other benefit about living on campus is that I'm the one that is responsible for the experience that the kids have. So if Susie wants to play volleyball all year round, then I'm going to find her a volleyball club for her to play in. If Carlos wants to play soccer, I'll find him, a soccer club. And either we'll get them there or there are other kids that go to school here that are on that club. So we're much more, having a boarding program really allows us to have better control and understanding of the experience that the students are having. So different activities that we try to plan throughout the year, obviously having the beach just right down the road, the kids head on down there, after school on the weekends. They jump on the train and head into Chicago. We go to a water park, weather permitting, college visits as often as we can. And something too that, I like the kids to understand is that, we can't take you to every college or every university, but we can take you to the type of college. So let's say if someone wants a large private university, then we'll take you to the University of Notre Dame. If someone wants a large state college or university, we'll take you down to Purdue University in West Lafayette, or we'll go up to the University of Michigan, to give you the idea of what that school or that type of school will look like. We'll go kayaking. Usually we do that in the fall. We try to go skiing a couple of times. We got 8.5 inches of snow yesterday, so I think skiing is going to come sooner than I would have liked. Um, and then Great America is an amusement park. We go at least twice for that. We just went for Fright Fest, and they had a blast, but we'll go again in the spring. And typically, depending upon cost, um, we, usually pay for half of that experience for them, um, because we don't want that to hinder their participation in these activities. Clubs in the school, not sure why those pictures are not popping up, but we have a National Honor Society, art club, drama club. I know this slide is DECA. We have an engineering club. This is service. This is a picture of Reigns of Life, which is it is equestrian therapy for children with disabilities. And we have a bowling club. We're not just going to have a club to say we have a club. We wait, we see what the students have interest in, and then, we pull those together for them. I believe the other slide is a fishing club. So that, I would say, concludes us in a nutshell. But thank you so much. And I really appreciate this opportunity from SMG, to share our little school with you. Um, it's really a special place.
Thank you so much. That was such a great overview of Marquette. Does anyone have any questions? Do the students need to leave the dorm during the holidays?
Only, well, I shouldn't say only. We're off for a week in spring, we're off for a week for Thanksgiving. The students stay in the dorm at that time. For Christmas, the dorm does close, but I work on finding them a host family if they're not going to make other plans, and the same for spring break. So it does, they do have to leave, but I don't just, I help them find a place to go.
Okay. Any other questions? And I am not an exchange student, obviously, but I have visited Marquette, as I mentioned, and I really did like the whole atmosphere, like just meeting the staff, meeting the students that were there at the time. I think, as Jen mentioned, it's really nice that it's a small town, but with big city access. And so when you have a student who says they want to be in a big city or near a big city, they're not going to be there every day because they're going to be in school. And this is a nice alternative in that way. It's a really good community and neighborhood. Two more questions. Are there any extra costs for homestay during the break?
No, there's no charge for that.
And then we have a nice comment from one of our partners in Brazil. I just want to say that Jennifer is amazing with the way she cares about the students. It's simply remarkable. Oh,
Oh
thank
my
you.
gosh. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Rodrigo. Oh my goodness.
Well, thank you so much, Jen. That was really great. And I hope that this was helpful for everyone to try and, send more students to Marquette. Again, if you have anyone that's ever interested in a boarding school and you want me to connect you with Jennifer or the students or the parents, we can always set up like info sessions so that the parents can hear directly and learn more, which I think is a really great option for a lot of the schools on the F-1 choice program. So thank you again, and I hope we can send more students to you next year. All right.
Me too.
And so next we have Miss Sophia Lilyquist, the International Program Director from Faith Christian Academy in Orlando, Florida. We've been working with Faith Christian Academy for many years, and Sophia and I just started working together as well. And so she's been growing the program, and this is another really top-notch school. So she can take over now. See.
Thank you. Let me see if I can share my screen. Oh, are you able to see anything?
Not yet.
Okay. Let me see. Sorry. Share. I thought this was already done. Sorry.
I'll give my anecdotal review of the school while we're working on that. I have visited Faith Christian School in Orlando, Florida, maybe about like 6 years ago. And one of the things that struck me about the school was just kind of how impactful it looked like. And I know sometimes, a lot of how things look is how the student's first impression is, or if a natural family visits the school. And so you kind of get this really big school, like a big structure. And then when you walk in the school, everyone is so kind and so warm and inviting. And just seeing all the students like walking around and being really happy with smiles on their face, it's a really great option. And it's in a state that's requested a lot, Florida, right? So we have the warm weather, we have the palm trees, and it's in the vicinity of Disney World. So I know a lot of students that we place there, their host families, whether they have season passes or they go to Disney World option often. So you get a lot of different elements of kind of that warm weather area, and being in Orlando, you're gonna get that Disney World experience. So it's a good school. You'll hear from her, but I think just kind of the way it looks and that first impression that you get, this is one of those schools that gives you that this is school in America. This is high school in America. This is why I chose this school.
Thank you, Diane. For some reason, my system is not allowing me to share my screen. Are you able to open
Oh
the
yeah,
presentation I
yes.
shared?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. So what I can do is we'll do this, and let's see.
Yeah, so I can share based off this. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah. Hopefully you're able to do the video also.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay. So just tell me when you want to advance and I'll do that.
Okay. So like Diane mentioned, we are located in Orlando, Florida, just 15 minutes from the international airport. And we are so close to prestigious universities like UCF and Rollins College, offering both convenience and access to higher education. So the next screen, I could show, I'm sorry. Yeah, so a little bit about me. I'm originally from India. So personally, I understand the culture shock, and I have, been through moving from one country to the other country. So I understand a lot about the students, and also me, I have been part of Faith Christian Academy only for 2 years, but I've been in the international education at a higher institution at the university level for more than a decade. So I understand all the parts of the enrollment to all the way to OPT and all the good stuff in the future, transitioning. So I'm able to prep my students if their goal is to be in the United States, to be able to do long-term education or try to want to live in the United States. I'm able to guide them along the way and also help them choose the right path for them. And then we have a little bit of a video.
Welcome to Faith Christian Academy, where our main
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can play. Go ahead and play. If you can make it into full screen, that would be great. Thank you. Yeah.
mission is to help students encounter Jesus. We are truly blessed to have this opportunity to share our beautiful campus with you, and we hope you enjoy the tour. Faith Christian Academy was established in 1979 by Faith Assembly of God and has grown into a respective college prep school with over 680 students. From a first graduating class of about 8 students, the Academy has now graduates over 50 students annually. Together with Faith Christian Preschool, Faith Christian Academy serves more than 850 students overall, offering weekly chapels and a unique spirit-filled ministry to encourage students' personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Welcome to the main office. All visitors must check in at the main office located here in Lot 5. We pride ourselves on school security, so please remember to wear your visitor badges at all times. Welcome to our kindergarten and first grade hallway. This main hallway is solely dedicated to our kindergarten and first grade classrooms. Each classroom creates an immersive experience catered for your students' learning potential. Each of our kindergarten and first grade classrooms are also equipped with their own restrooms. All of our teachers are certified and ready to share their love for learning and their love for Jesus. Our elementary students have recess outside for 30 minutes a day on our playground. Welcome to Kids Theaters. Here at Faith, we pride ourselves on providing a legacy of excellence and spiritual growth. Chapel is a big part of who we are, and every student has the opportunity to attend once a week on Fridays. Elementary chapels are led by Faith Assembly Kids Way ministry staff, and the greatest part is you, the parent, are more than welcome to attend. Most of our school assemblies, special induction ceremonies, and our staff devotions take place right here in Stevens Chapel. Not only is our sanctuary used for our services on Sundays and Wednesdays, but this is also where we host all of our school concerts, performances, combined school chapels, and our 12th grade graduation ceremony. We offer a multitude of lunch options for your student. Each student gets 30 minutes for lunch, and they are more than welcome to bring their own school lunch or purchase school lunch. FCA loves parent partnership, and with approval, you are more than welcome to have lunch with your student. This is also the morning care location for your 6th through 12th graders. Second floor B wing hallway includes 2nd through 5th grade classrooms, along with our elementary principal office, some middle school and high school classes, the gym, and our STEAM lab. The gym is used for PE classes for all students. It also serves as a space for some secondary electives, sports classes, and our after-school sports practices. Additionally, the gym has offices for our athletic staff, trainers, and coaches. FCA offers art as an elective for students in kindergarten through 12th grade, including 2D art and AP art. Throughout the year, students' artwork will be displayed for your families to enjoy at the FCA Creative Arts Festival. All elementary and middle school students have access to our STEAM lab, where they can dive into the exciting world of technology, engineering, arts, and math. They get to unleash their creativity using 3D printers and computer technology, helping them explore and grow their interests in a fun and hands-on way. The second floor E-wing hallway is home to most of our middle and high school classrooms. It also includes our secondary principal's offices, our dean,
I'm not sure what happened.
I don't know either. It's okay. I mean, if we can go to the next slide if you want. Yeah. I mean, we have other great programs, and we also have soccer field and baseball field and football field, and we have a lot of opportunities in our campus. We are located on 95 acres of land, so that's one of the things that stands out. Like we have a huge campus. So a little bit about the background is, like we mentioned, the school started in 1979, so we are almost 50 years. But the international program we started in 2004. We got CVIS approved and started accepting international students. And so far, we have had about 117 students graduate from our school, international students, and we have had 16 countries represented, and we also offer short-term programs. So in an average, we have about 20 short-term students and 6 long-term students. And this year I have 5 active long-term students and a lot of short-term students coming up next month. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So like Miss Jennifer mentioned, we also have dual credit, and we offer the advanced placement with our school. We have AP classes for history, math, English, and science, and but students are also able to graduate with college credits, so they can go into be a sophomore when they go into college instead of being a freshman because they already earned enough credits. So they're able to do that, and we also are recognized on niche as number 4 best Christian school in Orlando, Florida. So yeah, so we have lots of activities for students along with sports. We also have orchestra, musical theater, some of the things you would have seen in the videos. We have creative arts and weekly chapels. That's something very important to our school, and the students absolutely enjoy it. We also have lots of opportunities with the church. Also, we have activities from the church, so the students are always connected with somebody. They're never alone. They always have a family and friend experience, like a very immersed American experience. And our program provides students to have a collaborative experience, and not just in academic sense, but also like foster a strong sense of community. We also have, I'm sorry, it's hard with not being able to move we could go to the next slide. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a short-term program. This is basically more like a study tour. The students are here on B1 visa, B2 visa, tourist visa, not on F-1 visa when they come for the short-term program. So they can't say to the officer when they're entering, "Oh, we are going to the school," because they can say they are going to study and do a tour, because we offer them all the great amenities of our campus. And also we can, depending on how long they're staying, we could help them with touring like Disney World or Kennedy Space Center, that kind of stuff. So we based on what they are interested in, they can come here as like a study tour, or they can be here with a host family and just experience the school from anywhere from 2 weeks to 8 weeks. but they will not have like credits. This is definitely not a credit program. This is just like auditing classes, culture experience, and language, learning language. Okay, go next slide. So our host family, we take pride in taking, like we work with SMG with the host family, but we also have our own host family that we choose mostly from our staff and also from our church members. So we know them personally and we place the student based on their personality with the personality of the host family. And we have had great success in this area. So even for short term, we always want to interview the student and see what they are like and interested in, and we place the students with the host family based on their personality. So that kind of works out really well for us. And host families offer a really great place to stay and a comfortable room for them. Mostly they're never sharing a room with anybody else. They will have meals. Lunch is provided at school. Everything else is provided at the host family's home. So it's just been a great experience for our students that have been with us in our host family. So with the next slide. So if you know of Florida, Orlando, Florida, you know it's really beautiful and sunny most of the time. Today is a little bit cold at the low of 30s, which is very not usual. So usually it's very nice and sunny here, and we enjoy all the different attractions that we have, from beaches to Disney World to Universal. We have a lot to offer. We have springs and like free places to go to, also very expensive places to go to. So when the students are here, we usually, as an international program director, I also plan events for our international students. So every month we are doing something together. Either it's going bowling or going for an outing. That's something that it's part of the program, and we help them enjoy their time here. Also have like a great American experience. All right, next slide. I'm open to questions. Thank you. Thank you, SMG, for this opportunity. I'm sorry the slides didn't work out, so it's kind of awkward, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I think one thing that's really important to note about Faith Christian Academy is the opportunities that the students have from sports and clubs, classes, and then just, obviously all the other community events that are there. So if anyone has any questions about, what is offered, what else do the students do other than classes, this is a good time to ask. Okay, I don't see any questions. Thank you so much for that presentation, Sophia. I definitely think this is a great option for students, so definitely keep it in your list when you're talking with students. And if you ever want students or parents to connect with directly with Faith Christian Academy, we can make that happen so they can have their own info session with her. Thank you so much. Oh, you're on mute.
Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Next, we have Mr. Wooten from Covenant Christian High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. This is a newer school. We just started partnering, I think, in the spring, maybe. So I wanted to have him on to talk about his school and all the great opportunities that come from having a student go there. So I will hand it over to you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to get my presentation going here. All right, everyone. Can we see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. So hi, yeah, my name is Seth Wooten, and I am the International Student Program Coordinator here at Covenant Christian High School. Covenant is located in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'll talk a little bit more about our city and kind of the benefits that come from there. We are a private Christian high school, and we are only grades 9 through 12. And so having a student population of just over 400 grades 9 through 12 allows a lot of opportunities for all of our students. I think in a size like that, we have students who are not only athletes that are dedicated to one sport, but athletes that are dedicated to several sports. We also have athletes who are dedicated to fine arts and being able to be involved in the musical or the play. And so I really think that 400 student body size allows for multiple opportunities. We're not small, we're not massive. It's a good, I think, comfort zone for our students to really get engaged into the community. And that's really a really standout part for me to the Covenant school is just the community that we have here. A part of Covenant, we are accredited by the Indiana Department of Education. Our major international accreditation is through the Association of Christian Schools International. And we are one in 19 schools in the world that is recognized by ACSI as exemplary accredited, which just means that we have been able to meet high standards in 40 additional criteria that general ACSI accreditation does not cover. And so what that means is that we take education very seriously, and we seek to provide some of the highest and best education available within the Association of Christian Schools International. So a little bit about where we are. We are located on the west side of Indianapolis. Indianapolis is the third largest Midwest city behind Chicago, Illinois, and Columbus, Ohio. And we're located right on the edge between the urban and the suburban. And so a lot of our families are from those two areas. We have students who are coming from downtown Indianapolis, living in an urban environment, but we also draw from 9 surrounding counties of Indianapolis. And so what that offers is a lot of connection and a lot of representation from all parts of the city within Covenant. Indianapolis itself is the capital of Indiana. And so there's a lot of amenities, whether that be the professional sports teams that we have, like the Pacers from the NBA, the Fever, Caitlin Clark with the WNBA, the Colts with the NFL, who are doing really great this year. And so also, specifically where we're located on the west side of Indianapolis is the Speedway of the Indy 500, the greatest day of racing, which comes at the end of the school year. And so many of our international students have had the opportunity of experiencing that great cultural experience in our city. In addition, Indianapolis does have an international airport. And so all of our international students are able to book not direct flights, but are able to book connecting flights here to arrive in our city. And so travel is pretty simple. Travel is very possible for all students to get to Indianapolis. So a little bit more about just Covenant in general. As I said earlier in my slide, this is a little bit outdated because this school year, 2025 to 2026, is the first year that our student body has reached over the 400 number. And so we are at a really good number. We're at not max capacity by any means, but we're definitely being able to expand the offerings of both classes and opportunities that comes with a larger student body. We offer around 27 AP or dual credit courses. One stat that I'll give is that our students have been able to receive on average in total around $800,000 in college savings with the amount of AP and dual credit classes that we provide. We have 70% of our faculty and staff have higher education degrees such as master's or PhDs. And this is demonstrative of the type of academic quality that is presented here at Covenant. Covenant is a college preparatory school. And so all of our students, while offered many different paths of graduation, are being challenged in order to be the best prepared that they can be within a college academic experience. This map is really cool. I like to show it just to see where all of our alumni have gone and studied in college. And so you can see that our graduates go all over the country. We've even had some that go around the world, specifically to Oxford. But our students, our graduates span the width and length of the type of higher education institutions that they go in. Around 2% of our student body is direct admittance into a university, with 97% of them being accepted into their first choice of university. In addition, we have around 3 additional percent. So 95% of our student body does go to college, with 3% pursuing 2-year degrees. And then we have 1% of our student body that enters into a trade program. And one really cool thing about Covenant is, even though while we describe ourselves as being college preparatory, we also offer vocational training through a local organization, such as students are able to get like welding experience. They're able to train for like beautician work, as well as being able to get some basic nursing skills and even some early nursing certificates. And so whether that be for students who are seeking to go into the medical field, the vocational training is really a cool opportunity for them to be able to take part in as well. So a little bit about Covenant. I'm going to focus more on what makes Covenant unique and what makes Covenant different. Again, like I said, we offer around 27 different AP or dual credit courses. Those are mainly your standard AP or dual credit courses. In fact, after freshman year and a little bit into second semester of sophomore year, almost every class that a student has opportunity to take can be taken at the AP or dual credit level. And so if that's a goal of a student, is to acquire as many college credits as they can in high school, that's very possible here at Covenant. But some additional things about Covenant are top traditions. One really cool thing that best represents, I think, the culture and the community that we are here at Covenant is that in second semester, usually around the end of April or beginning of May, the whole school takes the day off. And while we still come to school, we're not in the classroom. Instead, we're gone serving. And so we have one full day of community service that our entire student body, our staff, our faculty, and even community members, parents, get to join in on us having an impact in our surrounding community. And that really demonstrates one of the things that Covenant is all about. We're about minds enlightened, hearts inflamed, and lives transformed. And so this day of community really allows our students to engage with all 3 of those aspects outside of the classroom, as they're being enlightened through their academic work, as we hope that inflames their passion for the world around them, ultimately leading to transformation. That this day of gone serving is an opportunity. And so the past couple of years, we've been able to do some street trash pickup. We've gone into neighboring schools, help maintain their playgrounds, remulching. We've partnered with local food banks to help pack meals and distribute them. And so again, it's just a really cool opportunity for our students to get to have an impact in the community that they're a part of, but also seeing that impact over time in their 4 years, maybe being able to return to the same program or the same organization that they've served with. Another standout thing that makes Covenant cool and unique are spirit weeks. We have this really great tradition in the fall called hallway decorating, where students, each class will take their part of the hallway. So we have 2 hallways. And so each class gets a half of a hallway and they get a theme, and they go all out with the theme. Decorating it from like top to bottom is just wild. It creates an immersive experience. And it's a really fun time just for students to connect with their classes. They're able to stay at school up until about midnight the night before, preparing for the hallway. And then we have a voting contest, and that kicks off our football homecoming week. And so it's a really good time. Many of our different spirit weeks are involved with dress up days. Students, teachers, everybody gets involved. And again, it's just a really good experience for our student body to be connected. One new thing actually that we implemented last year is a house system. So very similar to that of Harry Potter, we have houses that all students are sorted into. A student is sorted into their house by their family. And so if they've had older students who've attended Covenant, they're going to be in the same house as their older students are in. And so while that creates a connected family, it also allows for our students to not just be connected with students in their grade or their sports or their other various clubs and activities, but it allows them to get connected to people they might not naturally meet. I think this has been one of the major benefits to our international program, is that for some of our international students, especially coming into Covenant at the beginning, it can be a pretty overwhelming experience. I think many of us would say that for all of our international students. And houses have been a great way to just connect them with people who they're going to see throughout the entire school year, who they're going to be doing activities with. They're also in a house with their host family and the siblings from their host family. And so that's another great way just for our students to feel connected to the general Covenant community. Saving the fourth one here is probably one of the things that makes Covenant the most unique, is that we offer J-term. Many colleges you might be familiar with offering a J-term, but at the high school level, that kind of is a unique thing to be able to offer. So following our Christmas break, coming back in January, we have 2 weeks that are dedicated to trips, dedicated to internships, but also dedicated to unique classroom instruction. And this time is really to inspire wonder and curiosity in our students in an academic setting that sometimes might be a little lost in the traditional classroom curriculum. And so we have classes such as life skills. We have like cooking classes. We also have Coffee 101, where they learn about the science that goes into making a good cup of coffee. We have classes like winter walking, where we have a recreational trail behind our school that students will go and walk on and observe nature, write some poetry, and just being able to engage in a creative outlet through nature. Within our trips, we offer both domestic and international trips for our students. Our international students are welcome to participate in these trips. It's easiest to participate within a domestic trip, just because there's no additional visa requirements or things like that. Our international trips, though, are also open and available depending on maybe some visa restrictions or things like that. But J-term is just a really good time for our community to engage in a unique and different part of learning. So a little bit more about our international program. Annually, we have about 7 to 10 international students, and that ranges from full-time, so here for the full academic year, but also here for maybe just one academic year to all 4 of their academic years. We also welcome 2 programs of short-term students, which is either for a semester or a quarter. And so really our span of 7 to 10 international students are here for a variety of reasons and a variety of times, which really allows our community itself through hosting to be able to connect in all sorts of gamuts, whether that be for all 4 years, for 1 year, a semester, or just a quarter. Within our international program, we offer many supports such as an E&L class. In Indiana, all first-time students who are rolling in an Indiana school do have to take a language assessment if English is not noted as their primary language. And while that might officially provide some English support for them in an E&L class, we do just generally encourage all of our international students to be a part of English support. We have 3 program staff. So in addition to myself, we do have an E&L teacher as well as a homestay coordinator. And that is just able to provide all sorts of touch points for our students and supporting them through their experience here at Covenant. Our international students are able to participate as well in athletics. Now, with Indiana High School Sports Association, there's some varying degrees of participation that a student can have depending on their past participation. And that can be explained more on a case-to-case. But as far as any participation at Covenant with clubs, fine arts, we have 19 varsity sports, the traditional sports that many high schools would have. We have over 13 clubs that students are able to get connected with, such as math club, robotics. And so there's many different ways for our students to get connected. But one way that we really look for connection to happen is through our homestay program. Covenant has its own homestay program that recruits our host families. Our host families do come from our student body. And so we look for many of our host families to be parents of students already at Covenant. Something cool this year is actually we've had an alum who has reached out and is hosting one of our students. Even though they don't have a student currently at Covenant, it's cool to be able to have an alum come back and recognize the impact of hosting one of our international students. And so international students are housed with families from our community. We try to partner a male international student with a male Covenant student around the same age as a way of, again, having that connection into our community. Our homestay program and our host families are really the way in which our international students engage best with our American families and are supported both socially, emotionally. Academically is more of my job and our job here at the school, but we definitely see our host families get into that area as well. And I think one thing that says a lot about our host family as well as our community is that many are repeat hosts, and that if they're hosting for a shorter time, many look for other opportunities to do so, as well as many are open to hosting for that longer period of time. And the last thing I'll leave you with is just a testimony from one of our international students. This is Jeffrey. This is a picture of Jeffrey on one of the trips that we took when he was a senior. We went skiing, and he had never been skiing before. And a lot of our international students on that trip had not been skiing before, but they got right into it. And this just I think this picture and this experience really characterizes who Jeffrey was, but also what made him successful here at Covenant. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, I'm telling some people about Covenant. What would you like them to know? And so he shared this quote with me, and he explained that as an international student, it was difficult to integrate into local life, but at Covenant, the teachers, classmates were very friendly, willing to help me. They will help me not only in my studies, but also in life. So when I came to Covenant as an international student, I quickly adapted to the study and the local culture, which I think is very helpful as an international student. And one cool thing about Jeffrey is that he stuck around in Indiana and attends a college about an hour outside of the city. And so for holidays and breaks, he still goes back to his host family and stays with them. And so while this is a really great example, it's not a one-off example, in that many of our international students and their host families have very strong connections, and again are I think really supported with one another. So that's Covenant. I'd love to share more if any of you have questions, and here's my contact information as well.
Thank you so much. That was a really great presentation. Does anyone have any questions about Covenant? I know it's the first time many of you are learning about the school. So about the location or activities, like that. I don't see anything coming through chat. One of the reasons why I wanted to partner with this school is, you can really tell that they're very well-rounded. And I think that is something that we look for in all of our partner schools, regardless of the program, but just the opportunities that the students can get and that they can achieve. The other thing is the support. You can see that there's a really high level of support for the students, and also picking the host families, and there's a lot of care. So if students can come back, that's something that they want to see. Oh, question. Do you offer 1-year graduation for international students?
It is possible. Because we are a Christian school, we do require all of our students to graduate with a certain number of Bible credits. And so we've had students transfer in for their senior year from other U.S. Christian schools that they were a part of. That works best. But we also do have an opportunity for students to recap or recoup any Bible credits that they might not have. And so, yeah, it is possible. It will require kind of like additional things, especially if they're not coming in with any previous Bible or theology credits. But that's something that we are very used to working with and capable to do.
Great. That's a great question. Thank you for asking that and for the answer. Any other questions? That definitely brings up not just for Covenant Christian, but for a lot of our schools. You know, a lot of our private schools on the Choice program and even on the Basic and Basic Plus program, graduation is possible. But the transcripts and the previous classes that the students have taken is really important to know. So it's always easy for me to connect with the school and send them the transcripts from the previous years to say, you know, do you think the student could be on track to graduate? The students do have to attend classes and pass, which is a really key element because I do think sometimes the students think they can just show up. But once we have the complete transcripts as well as the correct translated transcripts, we can always pass that along to a school and say, what do you think? And then, as Mr. Wooten said, they can let us know, you know, this would be difficult because they'll have to take more religion classes or math classes or whatever it may be. So as long as we always see those transcripts, we can connect with the school to ask in advance. All right, well, thank you so much, Mr. Wooten. It was great to see the presentation, and I hope we can send you more students.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
have one more question. How long does it take to process a school acceptance?
Yeah, so as soon as we get an application, I would say that the process itself, depending on how complete the initial application we get, like you were saying with the transcripts, that is one of the most important things that we can receive. And so since we are, like I said, around 400 students, that's a really small size for us to be able to really focus in on any application that we get. And so as soon as I get an application, I like to send it off to our dean of students, as well as our academic advisors, who we as a team will review specifically those transcripts. And so if we are able to get those, it can be pretty quick within a week of me scheduling a virtual interview, and then within that next week, making an admittance decision.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you able to cater for students with special needs, ADHD, or anyone on the spectrum?
Yeah, one of the great things about our support as well is that we have a whole family care role and department within our administration. And so within Covenant, we're not able to maybe support students with high learning needs, but we are able to support students with, for example, as listed here in the question, ADHD, or who might be on the spectrum of autism or whatever that looks like, because we have not only like 504B plans, we also have IEPs that are able to be accepted from other schools. We ourselves are also able to draw up and create IEPs for students.
And also as a program, yes, we can also cater to students with special needs, with learning challenges, and we can talk on that about that one-on-one with individual schools as needed as well. All right, well, I think that wraps up my time. I just want to say how thankful I am for our schools to have participated in this and also to see so many familiar names and faces. I hope that we can continue to grow all the programs that I run and just have another great year. So thank you, everyone. It was nice to see you.